Best bites forever.
Hey everyone, it's Chef Alicia and today I'm making alcapurrias. Today for my masa I'm going to be using yuca, plantains, and taro root. So I'm going to start off with the yuca, and for this you're going to need to slice off each end of it and then we're going to peel it. And I'm using 1.5 pounds today. So I got the ends off and now I'm going to go ahead and use my peeler to peel it, and once I have it all peeled and pretty I'm going to put it into a bowl of cold salty water and just let it hang out for a minute while I move on to my taro root, which is right here. For this I'm also going to just take a little slice off of each end, even though it's already cut, but the reason I'm doing that is to get rid of any dry spots that may be there. And then I'm also going to peel this taro root, and once it's nice and peeled it's going into that same bowl of cold salty water and onto my plantain, which I'm going to cut off each end. And then I'm going to give it a little slice right down the middle and go ahead and peel that off. And I will be using a total of 2 plantains for this masa, although you won't be seeing all of them get grated. So the next thing that needs to be done is everything has to be grated up. My awesome husband does that job for me because it is a lot of work. And here he is doing the taro root first, and there it is all grated. After that, we're going to move on to the yuca, and this has a little special thing that has to happen. It has like a little circle in the middle, and you're just going to kind of cut right on top of the circle, and sometimes it's off center like today. But the reason is there's a little root that runs right down the middle-ish of it, and you kind of need to take him out. So just poke and lift with your knife, and it should come out pretty easily. And there's my little root. Hello, little root, and just discard him. And it does run all the way up and down it, so make sure you get the whole thing. Then moving on, that also wants to be grated on the small holes on your box grater. And again, my awesome husband is doing that for me. And then I'm just going to add this into the taro root, which is already grated. And just as a little side note here, I am covering that in plastic. So there's the plantain getting all grated up, and it is also going to go ahead and get added into that mixture. And as you can see, there's my plastic wrap. The reason that I put that on there is just to keep it from oxidizing so it doesn't get like a brown or gray color, because that's not very pretty. So now we're going to flavor the masa, and today I'm keeping mine pretty natural. I'm going to use 1/4 cup of achiote oil, which is 4 tablespoons, along with 2 teaspoons of kosher salt. And then I'm just going to mix that together with my hands. There are lots and lots of ways that you can flavor your masa, and it's up to you, and here are some ideas for you. I know a lot of you out there probably use sazon, so you could do 1/4 cup of olive oil with 1 or 2 packs of sazon. I also like it with garlic powder, coriander, and cardamom. They're all really yummy in there. Whatever you choose to do, when you're done mixing it up, cover it up and refrigerate it for at least 3 hours. Overnight is better. Now I'm going to work on my meat filling, so I'm starting off here with 1 cup of fresh sofrito, and I've already put a little bit of salt and pepper into it and sauteed it down a little. And to that I'm going to add 1/4 pound of ground pork, 1.5 pounds of ground beef, and 1 ounce of tocino, along with a little bit of salt and a little bit of pepper. And then I'm going to just kind of cook this down for a few minutes. I'm not going to cook it all the way right now because there are a few more things that I want to add. So I'm just going to cook it down until it's like brown and pink, like so. And then I'm going to add a teaspoon of oregano along with 10 minced olives. And then I also have these raisins which have been hanging out in rum. I have 1/2 cup of them, and they soaked for about 3 hours in rum. So they have a really nice little flavor there. And I'm going to saute that all together until it's done. So I'm looking for the meat to be browned all the way. And now I'm ready to form my little alcapurrias. Okay, so the first thing that I want to do is set up my station. So I have a sheet pan with a piece of parchment paper, I have my meat, and I have my masa. And as you can see, I've kind of started forming these guys already, but I wanted to show you this one, and I have a good reason, and I'll show you in a second. But what you're going to do is take a handful of the masa and kind of mash it down into your hand, and then you bend your fingers a little bit in your hand, just let it relax so that you're making like a little cup, like so. And then that's where the meat is going to go. So I've kind of created like a little bowl. I don't know how easy it is to see, but there you can see it when I add the meat in. And then you're just going to close it up like a little clam. So close the little clam's mouth, quiet clam, just like so. Pinch his little mouth shut, and then kind of move it around in your hands and make sure he's steady, and get him into the shape you want. So the reason that I started on this one is I want to show you that every now and then when you're doing these, you get these little holes where the masa was just a bit thin, but it's really easy to fix. All you have to do is grab a little bit more of it and kind of do a little patch job on it like so. No big deal. get it on there, and then go ahead and roll it a little more if you need to. So I'm going to show you one more time what you need to do to get a nice little shape here for your alcapurria. So again, I'm just taking the masa, I'm mashing it down in my hand, and then I'm forming my little bowl. I'm going to put the meat into the little bowl and just give it a little push with my spoon. Make it like it's a little clam, close the little clam's mouth, and pinch it shut. It's pretty easy after you do a few and you get a nice little rhythm to get these going. And then just give it a nice little shape, like, I don't know, a football kind of thing going on. So I'm going to put that guy down and he's ready, and I'm just going to kind of finish the rest of these off, and I'm going to show you one more time just in case you need to be shown, and this time we're going to do it in fast motion though. So pat it down, make your little cup, put the meat in, then we're going to make it into a little clam, fold it over, close the clam's mouth, and then again just shape it. So I have one more to make, and I'll meet you at the stove. Just as a little side note here, you can actually freeze these at this point and save them for later. So here are my little guys, and I'm putting them into the oil. This oil is at about 350 degrees, and I'm going to very carefully, using a spoon, put them in one at a time. Your oil should be bubbling like you see here. If your oil ever starts smoking, turn off the heat. Obviously, don't put anything else in there, and let it cool before you move it so you don't get burned. As these are turning a pretty golden color, I'm going to flip them over. If you did happen to choose to freeze these and you're doing it later, your oil temperature needs to be a little lower, around 325. Once you get them nice and beautiful and golden all the way around, just go ahead and take them out of the oil. I have a sheet pan here, again a cookie sheet, and I just have some paper towels on it. And I'm going to take all of them out of the oil, and I'm going to put them onto this pan and let them drain a little bit before I serve them. And I also sprinkle them with a little iodized salt. So here they are, all plated up and pretty, and there's my leftovers the next day. I just want to show you because it was really delicious. And there's my husband and our new baby, and here are just some pictures of everybody enjoying their delicious little alcapurrias. If you would like this recipe or any of my others, please join me on my site, bestbitesforever.com. Thank you so much for watching, and happy cooking, everyone.
bestbitesforever.com